But Hollywood doesn't do peace. Not when $300 million are on the table, and definitely not when Keith Urban decides to play dirty. Because what started as a quiet divorce settlement just exploded into a full-blown media circus, one that's leaking faster than Keith's anonymous group chats. They said the split was mutual. They said it was civil. But now, sources close to the chaos claim Keith Urban just leaked private documents, voice notes, and emails exposing what he calls the real Nicole. And trust me, if these leaks are real, this isn't just divorce anymore. This is character demolition. So why did Keith risk everything to expose her? What exactly did Nicole do that turned a $300 million settlement into a war zone? And most importantly, who's lying now? Because one side's spinning heartbreak, the other's spinning receipts, and somewhere between their PR teams and private jets, the truth is burning a hole through Hollywood's perfect image. Grab your popcorn, because this isn't your average breakup. This is Nicole versus Keith, the billion-dollar betrayal. And the leaks? Oh, they're just getting started. Coming up, you won't believe what he exposed. They were Hollywood's golden couple. The red carpet smiles, the award show hand-holding, the duet performances that made tabloids swoon. Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban were the picture frame every studio wanted to hang in its hallway, the Oscar queen and the country music king. But behind the camera flashes, that picture was cracking slowly, silently, and now, violently. When the world first heard divorce, it sounded routine. Two megastars going their separate ways. But then, that number dropped. $300 million. That's when love turned into litigation. Suddenly, every luxury car, every beachfront property, every private jet was a potential exhibit in court. And the internet did what it does best: pick a side before knowing the story. For months, the headlines stayed clean. Amicable split, respectful co-parenting, the kind of PR language that smells like lavender and contracts. Until last week, when a mysterious folder began circulating among entertainment journalists' emails, screenshots, timestamps. It was titled The Truth Folder, and the sender's initials? K.U. Inside, pages allegedly detailing private messages between Nicole and her management team, conversations about assets, image control, and something darker, manipulation. One email read, "We can spin this narrative. People still see him as the addict, not the victim. No context, no proof of authenticity, but enough to send gossip networks into meltdown." Because if those lines were real, Nicole wasn't the wounded ex-wife. She was the puppeteer. Keith, meanwhile, had been silent, posting nothing but cryptic lyrics on his Instagram. Lines like "the mask cracks when the music stops." Fans thought it was a new single. Turns out, it was a warning, according to people who once toured with him. The couple's tension didn't start with money, it started with control. Nicole liked to manage the brand. One former road manager allegedly told a podcast, Keith just wanted to play. But she turned everything into strategy. For years, he went along. Because who says no to Nicole Kidman? But when he found out about a hidden investment fund one registered under her production company's alias, he lost it. That fund, he claimed, held profits from joint endorsements that somehow never reached his accounts, and that's when he began collecting receipts. In Hollywood, everyone collects receipts. It's the survival kit: texts, voicemails, backup drives, NDA letters. The difference is, most people never detonate them. Keith just did. The leaked material wasn't just about money. It was emotional ammunition, therapy transcripts, old love notes, unflattering recordings from private arguments. The kind of things that don't win court cases but destroy reputations. Overnight, Twitter became a courtroom. Hashtags like #TeamNicole and #Justice for Keith trended side by side, tearing fans apart. One comment under a viral TikTok said it best: "This isn't a divorce. It's a documentary waiting to happen." And it was. Streaming giants reportedly reached out to both camps for exclusive rights, because in today's world, every heartbreak is potential content. But before you think Keith is the hero here, slow down. Hollywood's angels always come with horns you can't see under the spotlight. Within hours of the leaks, Nicole's team fired back. Her rep released a statement accusing Keith of digital harassment and intentional emotional abuse. Then came the lawyers armed with cease and desist letters faster than TMZ could refresh its homepage. Yet, there was one thing money couldn't suppress: curiosity. The public wanted to know why now. Why leak all this when a $300 million settlement was supposedly close to finalizing? What pushed Keith over the edge? Insiders whisper about a Clause 1 small paragraph buried deep in the settlement draft. It stated that neither party could reference their marriage publicly in any medium, written or verbal, translation, no songs, no memoirs, no interviews. For an artist who writes his pain into music, that clause was a muzzle. Keith refused to sign it. Nicole insisted, and that's when the whole deal collapsed. Someone in her legal circle allegedly called it containment, but Keith saw it as censorship. He reportedly told a friend, "If I can't sing the truth, I'll show it," and he did by pressing send on that folder. From that moment, the couple's carefully polished illusion shattered. Tabloid drones started hovering outside their separate mansions. PR teams went into full crisis mode. Nicole was spotted leaving her LA townhouse in oversized sunglasses and a trench coat, the universal costume of someone pretending not to care. Keith, on the other hand, looked liberated, grinning at paparazzi, strumming a guitar outside a cafe like a man who'd finally found his freedom or lost his mind. The narrative flipped every hour. Morning shows debated victimhood. Podcasts dissected body language. Everyone became an analyst of their downfall. Even late-night hosts joined the circus. One joked, 300 million reasons to keep your iCloud password safe. The audience roared. But behind the laughter was fascination, the same kind that kept people glued to the Depp Heard trial or the Kardashians' legal soap opera. This was Hollywood's new obsession still. One question refused to fade. What's real? Were the leaks authentic? Or another round of PR chess? Because for every screenshot, there's Photoshop. For every source close to Keith, there's a planted rumor. And then came the twist. Keith's attorney went on record claiming his client did not authorize any media leak, meaning either Keith was covering his tracks or someone inside his circle had gone rogue. Either way, the internet didn't care. The damage was done. Public sympathy swung like a pendulum. Fans revisited old red carpet clips, trying to decode smiles from 2018. "Look at her eyes," one commenter wrote. "She's hiding something," another replied. "He's manipulating her." Nobody knew anything, but everyone felt everything. And just when it seemed like things couldn't get messier, Nicole broke her silence with one line posted at 3 a.m. "The truth will come out." 4 words. 50 million reactions. People screenshot it, reposted it, analyzed the punctuation. No period. Open-ended, like a threat or a promise. Within an hour, Keith unfollowed her. That was the moment fans knew this wasn't reconciliation. This was war. What nobody realized then was that Nicole wasn't bluffing. Behind the calm exterior, she was preparing her counterattack, one that could turn Hollywood's sympathy on its head, because when Nicole Kidman says the truth will come out, she doesn't mean a tweet. She means a storm. And that storm was about to hit when Nicole Kidman said the truth will come out. She wasn't joking. Within 48 hours, her team flipped the entire narrative like a script rewrite on opening night. One moment the world was calling her a manipulative ice queen. The next, headlines scream Nicole breaks her silence. The PR machine had woken up. And it was hungry. Early that morning, a glossy, cinematic video dropped on Nicole's verified channel. Not an interview, not a statement, but a production. Dim lighting, piano chords, and Nicole herself sitting at a mahogany desk. No makeup glam, just a white shirt and those piercing eyes that once won an Oscar. "I stayed silent because I believed dignity mattered," she said. Voice trembling with just enough restraint to sound sincere. But silence can be twisted into guilt. So here's what really happened. Cue the montage, photos, dates, voice memos, and what looked like text messages showing Keith's late-night temper rants. Whether real or staged, it was devastating optics. Within minutes, hashtags flipped. Hashtag Justice for Keith quietly faded as hashtag Nicole Speaks began trending worldwide. Her team had turned the chessboard around in one calculated move. Social media erupted. One fan tweeted, "She dropped this like a movie trailer. Who needs Netflix?" Another wrote, "You can't cancel Nicole Kidman. She is the algorithm." But Keith's camp wasn't staying quiet. He went live that same evening from a dim studio, guitar in the background, whiskey glass in hand, the image of wounded authenticity. "I won't fight fire with fire," he told his 6 million followers, "but I won't let lies define me." Then he strummed a few chords of an unreleased song titled Broken Receipts. The lyrics, "You can leak what you want, but you can't erase my name." Instantly, blogs turned his lyrics into headlines. Was Keith writing his side through music? Was Erase My Name a shot at Nicole's rebrand? By dawn, snippets of the livestream were everywhere. Every gossip site, every entertainment podcast dissected the phrasing like scripture. Meanwhile, a third player entered the battlefield, a former assistant, who claimed to have seen everything. She told a late-night host that the couple's love had collapsed years ago, after a secret incident on a European tour. A confrontation over a mysterious bank transfer labeled consulting fee. The assistant implied it wasn't consulting at all. Let's just say she smirked. Love costs more when fame's involved. Audiences gasped. Lawyers called it slander. The assistant vanished offline the next day, but screenshots of her interview flooded TikTok anyway. Every amateur detective on the internet began piecing together theories. Threads titled "The $1.7 million mystery racked up millions of views." And in the middle of this digital wildfire, Nicole made her boldest move yet, a counter lawsuit. She filed for defamation and digital harassment, accusing Keith of orchestrating a smear campaign through proxies. Court documents cited unauthorized disclosure of private correspondences and psychological distress causing loss of endorsements. Translation: she wanted damages and dominance. Keith's legal team hit back with equal fury, releasing a 40-page rebuttal filled with screenshots of alleged provocation messages. One line read, "If you go public, I go nuclear." Another, "People need to know who you really are." The internet went feral. Overnight, both were trending for all the wrong reasons. Commentators compared it to the Amber Johnny saga, but with better lighting and higher budgets. Memes flooded feeds. Keith photoshopped as a cowboy holding legal papers. Nicole as a queen playing chess. Even late-night talk shows milked the chaos. One host quipped, "At this point, their lawyers should win Oscars for best performance in a real-life drama. Behind the glamour, though, something darker brewed." Reporters digging through public filings discovered that Keith's production company had quietly lost to major sponsorships. Meanwhile, Nicole's fragrance brand had its biggest sales spike in a decade. Public sympathy sells, and Nicole was suddenly marketable again. Still, the story refused to settle. An anonymous Reddit post claimed a Hollywood fixer had been hired to suppress certain videos that could destroy both careers. Nobody knew what those videos contained, but speculation was gasoline on an open flame. Some said hidden camera footage. Others whispered about unreleased therapy recordings. Each theory more unhinged than the last, and the more absurd they got, the more clicks they earned through it all. One thing was clear: Nicole and Keith's breakup had evolved from personal tragedy into a global spectacle. Every publicist in Los Angeles studied it like a case study in crisis management. How to weaponize heartbreak for headlines. Then came the curveball. A tabloid obtained an internal memo from Nicole's legal team, apparently leaked by someone inside, suggesting they'd consider a confidential settlement if Keith agreed to a lifetime non-disparagement clause. Essentially, a permanent gag order. When that memo surfaced, it backfired. Fans began to wonder if Nicole's entire truth campaign was a strategy to pressure Keith into silence. Overnight, sympathy swung again. #FreeKeith trended. Playlists of his old love songs surged on Spotify. In one surreal twist, fans began playing Blue Ain't Your Color outside her Beverly Hills mansion with portable speakers, a protest turned performance art. Hollywood thrives on spectacle, and this was feeding every network. News anchors dissected tone, lawyers live-streamed analyses, and influencers reenacted courtroom fantasies for views. It wasn't just gossip anymore. It was the internet's favorite ongoing series. And still, neither side backed down. 2 weeks later, TMZ released drone footage of moving trucks outside their former Malibu estate. Workers carried out boxes labeled Archives 2003 to 2016. The comment sections went feral. That's the year she won her Oscar. That's when he checked into rehab. Everyone thought they'd cracked the code. What none of them realized was that the real game wasn't being played online. It was happening behind closed doors, inside boardrooms, legal chambers, and PR strategy calls lasting past midnight. Because while fans fought wars in comment sections, lawyers were negotiating one of the most expensive image control deals Hollywood had ever seen. A source close to the proceedings whispered that both camps were drafting a mutual media silence agreement. The figure allegedly floated around $25 million just to buy quiet. To the public, it looked like reconciliation. To insiders, it was exhaustion with a price tag. Yet, even as talks began, Keith posted a cryptic photo, a single burned CD with the handwritten label Evidence Volume 2, no caption. Just that, it shattered whatever peace they were trying to build. The post racked up to million likes in an hour before disappearing. By now, the story had mutated beyond truth or fiction. It was performance art, an algorithmic masterpiece. Nicole's brand managers were rumored to be in meetings with a streaming platform to document her healing journey. Keith's label allegedly pushed him to record an album titled The Settlement. Every heartbreak became content, every accusation a teaser trailer, but beneath the glitz, both stars were unraveling. Friends described Nicole as tired but calculating, staying up nights reviewing edits of her upcoming campaign. Keith was said to be restless, wandering recording studios, replaying voicemails that once sounded like love letters for years. They'd built empires together. Now, they were tearing them down for applause. Still, the biggest bomb hadn't dropped yet. Because while everyone argued about screenshots and statements, a sealed envelope had arrived at the Superior Court of Los Angeles. The label read confidential, for judicial review only. No one knew what it contained. But rumors said video evidence, and according to whispers from the courthouse corridor, that footage could end the battle once and for all. The question wasn't if it would leak. The question was when. Because in this war of love and leverage, secrets don't stay sealed for long. But if Keith thought he could just drop one leak and vanish, he underestimated the chaos he had unleashed. Because the moment that audio hit the internet, the entertainment world went feral. TMZ, Page 6, and half of TikTok began dissecting every syllable. Lip readers, sound engineers, even so-called energy healers claimed they could detect the pain in Keith's tone. And what did Nicole do? Oh, she didn't just stay quiet. She went silent in the loudest way possible for days. Paparazzi camped outside her mansion in Sydney, waiting for a reaction. Nothing, no publicist statement, no social media post, no spokesperson denial. Just stillness until one morning, Nicole stepped out wearing all white, hair slicked back, with the calm of someone who just buried her past and walked away. Reporters yelled questions. Nicole, are you suing Keith? Nicole, did you manipulate the prenup? Nicole, are you dating your co-star? She didn't flinch, just smiled and whispered to one camera. Let him speak. Truth always circles back. That 5-second clip went viral in under an hour. Hashtags like hashtag Nicole vs. Keith, hashtag the leak, and hashtag 300M mess flooded every platform. But soon, the story took an even darker twist because Keith's truth didn't just involve emotional manipulation or prenup lies. Nope, his next leak was a set of financial documents allegedly proving that during their marriage, Nicole had set up offshore trusts and anonymous investments totaling over $80 million. And according to the leak, Keith had no idea. The internet exploded. Was this Nicole's secret stash? Was she playing billionaire chess while pretending to be the supportive wife? Every gossip blog suddenly had exclusive screenshots of wire transfers, property records, and shell company details. Some showed links to real estate in Bali, private villas in Italy, and even a rumored secret production fund tied to her friend Reese Witherspoon. It was chaos wrapped in glamour. Then, boom, Nicole's legal team clapped back. They issued a firm statement saying the documents were manipulated, defamatory, and illegally obtained, but fans weren't convinced. One fan tweeted, "Funny how every time receipts drop, it's suddenly illegal if it's fake. Sue him." Others sided with Nicole, accusing Keith of revenge leaking, calling it career suicide with a guitar. Meanwhile, someone claiming to be a former assistant came forward on TikTok, saying she witnessed heated arguments about money between the couple. Her video got 10 million views in 24 hours. Nicole didn't trust anyone, she said tearfully. She used to hide bank statements in scripts and lock her laptop in a safe. Keith would beg for transparency, but she'd just smile and say, "You sing. I'll handle the rest." Now, whether that assistant was legit or not, it didn't matter. The story had become bigger than either of them. Netflix allegedly reached out for a docu-scandal series. Tabloids were bidding for exclusive interviews, and industry insiders started whispering that both stars had been blacklisted by certain studios until things calmed down. Their brand, once clean and elegant, had become tabloid poison. But here's the twist as all this unfolded. An anonymous Reddit account, created only 2 days before, began dropping long, detailed posts under the handle @InsideTheSettlement. Each post contained insider-level details, court document numbers, private messages, even photos of what appeared to be meeting notes between Nicole's lawyers. The posts accused Keith of weaponizing public sympathy, while hinting that Nicole's alleged financial schemes were far deeper than marriage money. People began speculating that the account was either a rogue team member from Nicole's camp or a plant from Keith's PR team trying to control the narrative. Either way, the damage was done. Fans no longer knew who to believe. Was Nicole the victim of a bitter ex-husband, or the mastermind behind one of Hollywood's biggest deception sagas? And then came the interview. Keith Urban sat down with a major Australian outlet, breaking his silence in what would become the most viewed celebrity interview of the year. The interviewer opened softly, "Keith, what do you want people to understand about all of this?" Keith sighed, looked into the camera, and said, "You can't build love on contracts. You can't measure faith in dollars. And you can't silence someone who's already lost everything." Cue the dramatic pause. The interviewer asked if he regretted the leaks. Keith smirked, "I didn't leak anything. The truth just found its way out." Boom. Internet meltdown. Within minutes, Nicole's fans accused him of gaslighting, manipulating, and trying to play the humble victim. Keith's fans hailed him as the brave whistleblower of celebrity marriages. The division was complete. Now, reports say that behind the scenes, Nicole has filed a new motion, not for money this time, but for protection of privacy and reputation. Some insiders claim she's demanding all leaked materials be destroyed and that Keith face sanctions for digital defamation. Meanwhile, Keith's legal team insists the information came from publicly accessible documents. Basically, both sides are calling the other a liar, but with legal jargon. What's even wilder? A recent rumor, unverified but viral, suggests that Nicole and Keith's divorce settlement wasn't finalized after all. That hidden clause Keith mentioned? It might mean Nicole still owes him royalties from a joint production fund. If that's true, the case could reopen, dragging them back into court under a new claim, contractual fraud. As this circus spins, Hollywood is quietly taking notes. Insiders claim other celebrity couples are now revisiting their prenups in fear of similar exposure. And get this, a legal firm in Beverly Hills reportedly launched a new service called the Urban Clause, designed specifically to prevent public leaks and revenge documents after a breakup. That's how deep this thing has gone. It literally created a new market. But here's the real kicker. According to one Australian reporter, Nicole might be preparing a counter leak. Not about finances, but about what really happened during their final year together. It's emotional, not financial, the source teased. She's been documenting everything. Imagine that. Diary entries, private messages, recordings from therapy sessions, all about to drop as her final word, if that's true. Keith's truth leaks could backfire spectacularly, because once Nicole plays the emotional card, the internet will flip. Sympathy will swing, headlines will shift, and the man who thought he was exposing lies might end up labeled as the manipulator himself, and just when you think it can't get messier, it does. Sources say Nicole recently flew to Nashville under a fake name, spotted meeting with mutual friends. Word on the street? She's negotiating a private settlement. Something off the record, behind closed doors. Maybe money, maybe silence, maybe both. So here we are, two Hollywood icons, two sides of the same shattered fairy tale. Love, loyalty, and legacy, all burned in the fire of ego and exposure. What started as a $300 million divorce claim has become a global masterclass in how fast image turns to ashes, whether Nicole fights back or forgives in silence. One thing's undeniable, the world isn't watching a love story anymore. It's watching a reckoning. And like all great Hollywood endings, it won't fade quietly into the credits, it'll explode into the next headline, because in this story, nobody's innocent, and every leak has a price. And just like that, what began as a fairy tale love story has twisted into a Hollywood horror show of leaks, lies, and legacy. But tell me this, do you really believe Keith Urban is the only one telling the truth? Or is Nicole quietly building her final strike, waiting for the perfect moment to turn the tables? Because if history has taught us anything, it's that Nicole Kidman doesn't lose. She strategizes. The public thinks this saga is ending, but the real insiders know this is only the intermission. There are still sealed documents, unreleased recordings, and one final truth bomb waiting to go off. The question is, who's going to drop it first? Now, before this story gets buried under another celebrity scandal, I want to hear what you think. Was Nicole's $300 million claim a cry for justice or a masterclass in revenge? And did Keith really leak the truth, or just his version of it? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, and make sure you're subscribed, because on Lumi Legacy, we don't just report the drama, we unmask it. Stay tuned, because this storm isn't over, it's just getting louder. It's just getting louder.